Last week I showed you the receipts, where the money went, who profited when you hit share, when you bought the hat, when you showed up at the rally. And you did the homework. You wrote down one thing you were told that turned out not to be true. Now I want to ask you a harder question. Not about the money, about the ledger you kept in your chest. The one you don't show anyone. What did it cost you, personally, to stay loyal? Don't answer out loud, just sit with it. Because here is the second trick they used on you. After the fear stacking, after the rotating enemy, they asked for the most expensive thing you own. They didn't ask for your wallet. They asked for your people. And you gave them. Welcome back to the wayfinding station. I'm Ms. Peck. This is the MAGA Exit. 18 weeks, one decision, and this is the week you look at what you traded to belong. In Episode 1, I introduced the 7 tricks, the rhetorical and psychological levers that stop you from thinking clearly. Number 1 was fear stacking. Pile enough threats on someone, and their brain stops processing. They just react. Trick number 2 is what we're grading tonight. The loyalty trap. Here is how it works, and I want you to read along with me like we're grading a paper together. The loyalty trap has 3 parts. Ready? Part 1. They define loyalty as agreement. Not support, not love, not, I'm here for you even when we disagree. No. Loyalty in the trap means you never question me publicly. You never break ranks. You never say, wait, I'm not sure about that. Part 2. They make disloyalty the worst sin. Worse than lying, worse than cruelty, worse than taking your money and spending it on themselves. In the trap, the only unforgivable crime is leaving. Part 3. They isolate you preemptively. This is the part that breaks my heart as a reading teacher, because it's so easy to spot from the outside. They tell you, they're all lying to you, the media, the experts, your own family if they disagree. Only we tell the truth. Once you believe that, the trap is set, because now, if you start to doubt, you have nowhere to go. They made sure of it. That's not loyalty. That's a hostage situation with a welcome mat. Now, let's do what we did last week. Let's follow the receipt. You came into this movement with something valuable. Not just your vote, not just your energy. You came in with relationships. A father who doesn't talk to his daughter anymore because she asked him to wear a mask at Thanksgiving. A son who stopped calling because every conversation turned into a Fox News transcript. A friend of 20 years, who said, I don't recognize you anymore. These aren't hypotheticals. These are the receipts from the people who write to me. The people sitting in this station right now, holding a compass they're afraid to look at. The gang didn't just take your money. They took your witnesses, the people who could have said, hey, that doesn't sound like you. And they did it on purpose. Isolation is not a side effect of the loyalty trap. It's the point. A person who has lost their outside relationships has no mirror, no one to hold up and say, is this really who you want to be? So here's your red pen moment. Circle this. The people who demanded your loyalty never offered you theirs in return. They didn't show up when your kids stopped calling. They didn't sit with you at 3 a.m. when you started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, something wasn't right. They took your loyalty and spent it on themselves. That is not a movement. That is a transaction where you paid in people. Let's breathe for a moment, because this part hurts. Last week I gave you the dichotomy of control, the Stoic tool from Epictetus that separates what is yours from what is not. I told you, the gang is not yours. Their decisions are not yours. What is yours is your ability to look clearly at the evidence and say, I see it now. Tonight, we apply that same framework to the people you lost. Here is what Epictetus would tell you in plain language. You cannot control whether your daughter picks up the phone. You can control whether you leave a voicemail that says, I'm ready to listen. You cannot control whether your friend believes you've changed. You can control whether you show up changed. You cannot control whether the gang calls you a traitor. You can control whether you pick up the compass and walk. The Stoics have a word for the pain of looking back and realizing what you traded. They don't call it weakness. They call it the beginning of philosophy. The moment you see clearly, even if it hurts, is the moment you start living. So here's your stoic tool for episode 2. Make 2 columns. Left column, what I lost because I was loyal to them. Right column, what I can do about it starting now. The left column is your grief. Honor it. Don't skip it. Some of those losses are permanent, and I am not going to tell you they aren't. But the right column? That column is your agency. And agency is the thing the loyalty trap was designed to take from you. You are holding a compass. The needle moves. That means you still have a direction. Here is where we pivot. Because this station is not a place to wallow, it's a place to decide. Last week I asked you to write down one thing you were told that turned out not to be true. Some of you did. Some of you stared at the blank page and couldn't do it yet. That's fine. You're here. This week, the question gets more specific. Who did you lose because of the hat? Not because of politics. Because of the performance of politics. Because the gang required you to choose them over your own people. Now, here is the exit ramp. This is the part that sounds impossible, but is actually the simplest thing we do in this station. You can reach out to one of those people, not to debate, not to prove you were right or wrong, not to relitigate the last 4 years, just to say, I've been thinking, and I miss you. That's it. That's the whole invitation. No apology tour, no political confessional, just a door cracked open with a light on. Because here is what the reading teacher knows that the gang doesn't want you to learn. People who can change their minds can also change their relationships. The gang told you the door only swings one way. They lied about that too. Homework for episode 2. 2 things. 1. Make the 2-column ledger. Left side, what loyalty cost you. Right side, what you can do about it starting this week. 2. Write down the name of one person you lost, and sit with the question, if I could say one thing to them with no agenda, what would it be? Don't send it yet, just write it. Put it next to your episode 1 homework, that one thing you were told that turned out not to be true. You are building a file. Evidence, not for anyone else, for yourself. 18 weeks, 1 decision. The gang took your loyalty. They took your money in episode 1. They took your people in episode 2. You are allowed to be angry about that. You are allowed to grieve it. But you are not allowed to believe that what they took is the whole story. Because here is what they could not take from you. Your ability to read the room. You're reading it now. You're seeing the trick. You're holding the compass. This is the week you decide. Not who to vote for, not which party to join. This week, you decide whether the people you lost are gone forever, or whether you're going to pick up the phone, crack the door, and let someone see that you're finding your way back. I'll be here next Tuesday. Same time, same lantern. Bring your ledger, bring the name, bring the compass. We're not done.